on Tom's serve, and then you kind of hope that the points play out the way they need to be played out at that very moment, because it's basically in his hands. If he serves well, it's difficult, or the margins are extremely slim at that point. So then once you do get back, it's important not to then relax and think, oh, I made the hardest part is done. It's only about to begin, actually. So I'm happy I was able to use momentum, win that second set, and then it was a tough opening set in the third, wasting the love 40 game on Thomas's first service game, then saving break points myself, and I mean anything could have happened there. So things definitely went my way out here tonight, but I've had a lot of tougher matches in the last 1.5 years, so this is nice to get a lucky break again.
Why was it so tough?
Well, I mean, I think I started well, just normal, solid. I don't think Thomas played a great game to get broken in the first set, and after that my serve didn't help me. I think the game I got broken, I might have made one serve, if that, on the first serve, and he returned well on the second. Still looking for my rhythm on the serve, and it's been a bit of the case this whole week. It's been like this, so that's something I maybe have to clean up a little bit, but then again, the ball comes to you on this court, and then if you strike it well, it's just hard to get rhythm. And I was struggling with half volleys, I was struggling with my forehand, and then it's just everything happens very, very quickly, and you can really forget about trying to look for rhythm in these conditions against Burdick, and that's what then makes it hard for quite a long time. So I just was looking for better serving, actually, because I think that's what let me down the most. In the beginning, got me down in the match, of course. Being broken 3 times in 5-6 service games is just not something you can normally do against a top guy.
When was the last time you remember playing 2 matches like this, where you had a fight back to back, but fight to get that one?
Well, I've had it a lot in recent times. Some of them were in Basel, I remember. If you look at the scores there, I think it was against Post-Brazil. Dimitrov was difficult. There was another one there as well. And at the end I lost against Del Potro, and it kind of kept on going that way for a while. So I've had a lot of sort of ups and downs. But then in Australia and in Brisbane I was serving way better again, more solid. Just this week, it was one of those weeks. But I think this is how you win your first title again after a while. And then hopefully from here on it's easier, especially closing out. It's easier entering the easier matches, because it is a final, so there's a lot of pressure. And sometimes I've been disappointed with my play when it really mattered. And today and yesterday I was able to deliver when I had to. The same against Stepanek in the third, when things got tough there against me as well. I was able to come up with the goods, and it's one of those tournaments I kind of need this way right now.
Roger, we know that you trained extremely well this year compared to last year. What role does your new racket play in the good results you have had on the court?
I mean, look, I played well with my old rackets for years, so I always know I can always go back to that one just in case, it's a good just in case racket, I must say. And then I trained a lot with the new racket. It's a switch I wanted to do for a long time. I tried a racket in Hamburg and Gstaad last year, but just felt it was a good one, but it wasn't quite what I was, what I liked the most. It just felt totally different to what I was playing with before. This one is more in between, and I liked with the changes that Wilson was able to come up with, and I'm happy that the results are paying off, and especially in quick succession. I mean, I've only just switched, and here I am already. Got finals in Brisbane, the semis at the Australian Open, won my Davis Cup match, and now here I am with the trophy. So now it's not in the back of my mind anymore. Is this racket good or not? I was convinced in the practice, but then you hope that the results are going to follow, and they did. So I think it had somewhat to do with it, but it's like a puzzle. You need the hard work, you need the coaching staff, you need your family, my wife, everybody who makes it possible for me to still be playing.
Roger, you've played attacking tennis this week so successfully, presumably partly because the courts are fast. How much do you wish or hope that some of the other courts on the tour would speed up a bit?
I just think it's good to have variety. The worst thing that can happen is everything's fast or everything's slow. So I just think it's important that we have some that are faster and some that are slower. Because we do have clay, we still have grass. Grass has slowed down in a big way in the last sort of 10 years. So that's just all I think we should make sure we have, is that the fast court players who like that kind of frustrating play, big serving, serving way out of trouble kind of thing, that you're able to do that, and not that you have to go through 10 shot rallies every single time when it's a big point. It's nice to see that players can do that, but I think overall I just think it becomes a little bit predictable or boring, and for that reason I just think it's important to have good variety.
Roger, is it perhaps more the case that yesterday you showed that your tennis is getting where you want it to be, but tonight that mentally you're in a good place as well?
Yeah, and physically too. It's been a tough week. A lot of tennis, in short succession. Of course, it's been the same for everybody. But then again, I have a lot of tennis in my body over the years, and I'm happy that I can do these weeks, and played a lot of tennis already this year, and I feel like it's a very good stretch for me right now. And of course, it's never easy to back it up and play exactly the same way you did against a certain player. I learned that lesson hard against when I beat Sampras at Wimbledon. I remember went into the American summer and I was like, all right, play like when you played against Pete. It's just like, it's just not the same when you're playing that clay quarter, who's way back, and it's a slower court, and you're trying to serve a volley and you realize it's windy and it's different. It's just not going to happen, So you always have to readjust. And that's what I felt out there, man. I was missing shots, and I was totally out of sorts, and conditions were as good as if they could have been. So it's just like, that was like a mental win for me tonight.
Black?
Roger, I think just looking ahead, I believe last year it was perceived that you were too inactive in the stretch coming up, and therefore you weren't sort of
inactive.
Yeah, but as in not playing competitions.
Yeah.
In the stretch coming up.
Oh, okay.
Over in the States, and that therefore you weren't match hardened enough for that stretch, and it had a knock-on effect for the rest of the season. Maybe.
I disagree.
Well,
I was going
to say, is that a valid assessment?
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Okay. And are you happy with the schedule, this year's schedule in that regard?
Well, when you win, you don't have to talk schedule. It's like Stan winning the Australian Open. I mean, he can pull out till whenever he wants to. At this point, you make 2,000 points. It's so much points that you have a cushion for a long, long time. And actually, then you can just do whatever you feel like. So that's what winning tournaments does. Winning solves everything. And that for that reason, when you don't win, I don't want to say you panic, but you usually start readjusting your schedule. I've never really done that, to be quite honest. I believe in the long-term plan, and I announced earlier I was not going to play Miami, and at the end I couldn't play Miami anyway if I wanted to, because I was injured. And the injury, it took me 3 weeks probably, and out of those 7 weeks I was looking forward to taking 2 weeks off and then training for 5 weeks basically. I could only train for 2 weeks. So actually, instead of coming out of the training block strong and like a fiddle, I came out, halfway, and that's why my results were mediocre. I think they were okay. I mean, I did play the finals in Paris, in Rome, and quarters in Paris, won Halle. It was okay, but I realized it's just I'm missing training, I'm missing things. My confidence is not there. So the rest I took, I had to take it at the end, and I believe my results would have been different could I have trained 100%, because then many things happened with my mind. I lost confidence in my movement because the back issue didn't quite go away through that entire stretch. But I did decide to play Hamburg and Gstaad. I added that to the schedule, but then got hurt again in Hamburg. Should have not finished the tournament there. Should not have played Gstaad, but I was like, I'm already here. It's not crazy bad, but it's bad enough that I shouldn't be playing, but I want to play. And then from then on, I had to take a clear decision that I will just not play when I feel this way anymore in the future. So that's the promise I made to myself.
the back again.
Roger, don't take me the wrong way, but some of my colleagues they mentioned that you're coming back. So does Roger Federer think that he's coming back as a 2.0, or are we saying the rise of Roger Federer as a dominator of the world tennis again?
I mean, who knows? I mean, like, I'm just happy that I'm healthy again, and that I can focus on tactics and not focus on, am I feeling all right, you know, when I wake up tomorrow, or am I going to feel better tomorrow? That kind of stuff. I went through that for weeks and months, you know, like every day I hoped there was going to be a little improvement, and I only started to feel that improvement halfway through sort of the US Open maybe. So it was a long time I was fighting it, you know, all the way from Indian Wells really. So it was a long stretch through a couple of Grand Slams and a few Masters 1000s. So in that sense, yes, like a comeback from like an injury, you know, like Murray's is like a comeback, but it's not a comeback as such because I didn't fall out of the top 100 or anything like that. You know, I had if you look at it, I had an okay consistent season last year. Okay, I didn't win many tournaments, you know, but still, you know, I gave myself chances, and you know, I fought my way through, and I played while I was injured. It's always a dangerous thing to do, but I think I know when it's too dangerous and when it's not, and for that reason I'm just happy that now it's clear, I don't have to think of it, and I can just play tennis, and when you can play that way, you're more free, you have an open mind, and that's then when usually you are more successful, but not always. That's why you have to take them when you can, and this week I did, so I'm very happy.
Last one, please.
Can you talk a little about Thomas? You know, how difficult is it to put away a loss like today's? How long does it generally take for a top player, and how good can he be this year, do you think?
I think it depends on your character. I think he's quite relaxed, to be honest. That's kind of how I experience him away from the tennis courts, you know, player lounge. If I see him around and stuff, he's always easygoing. So for me, I think he's going to get over it quickly, and he might actually even take away the positives out of this. And that's what I hope for him, because he just won Rotterdam. He played the semis of the Australian Open. So this is the last thing you need to do right now, is to get down on yourself, because actually he's in a very good stretch right now, and he's about to make a push into the top 4. So for him, I hope he's going to play well in Indian Wells in Miami, and believe he can upset the best players and hopefully continue his run. That's what I would tell him if I would be his coach, but I'm not, so we'll see how he takes it.
Good job, Ian.
So, anyways, have a good day. Thank you very much, guys. See you next year.